Wow, what an incredible crowd. How's everybody doing today? We a little bit fired up? I see steel workers in the crowd. Are we a little bit fired up? Okay. I'd like to thank everybody on Wisconsin's Democratic ticket for being here today. It's an honor to be on the same ballot as them. Also like to thank the Marquette College Democrats for hosting this and the UWM for the venue for this event. I'm so glad we get the opportunity to talk to all of you today, especially the younger voters, about the opportunity that we have coming up in November. Down the ticket, the choice is very clear. We can have elected officials that misrepresent who they are and what they stand for, or we can have honest, hardworking electeds that will fight for everyday people for this great state. I mean, on one hand, you have Scott Walker. And what's he running as? He's running as the education governor. The first thing he did, I remember being a dad, was he gutted nearly $1 billion from public education. And then you have Tony Evers. Tony actually knows a little something about education. He's a teacher. He's going to be our real education governor, and he's going to restore this state's education system to the world-renowned standards. And let me touch briefly on Leah Bookbeer. Here you have a nurse who supports gutting pre-existing conditions for everybody. You know, I have cancer, that's a pre-existing condition. That is pretty close to home. You know, but Tammy Baldwin, she's going to fight to protect those who pre-existing. She's going to improve our health care, not destroy it. We need to keep Tammy exactly where she is. And a huge thank you to Senator Bernie Sanders. Bernie has supported our campaign since the beginning, which has honestly meant so much. You know, and we had a couple of events already, and I was thinking up to today, it's great having an event with Bernie, but today we actually have 2 events, one here and then one down in Kenosha. I'll never forget 2016 when he was running for president. I was working on a Northwestern Mutual Tower downtown. At lunchtime, we got a phone call from his campaign. And they asked me if I would speak at his rally when he was running for president. I'm thinking, what kind of presidential candidate calls up a construction worker eating out of his lunchbox to ask him to go speak at a rally? That really set him apart from other candidates for me. Not only that, but his campaign staff wanted to know if there was a picket line, if we had some kind of job action going on, because Bernie wanted to go walk a picket line if workers here needed help. That tells you all you need to know about it. And he continues every single day to be supportive of working people, both in his work every day as senator, fighting tirelessly for $15 an hour and Medicare for all, and in support of my campaign and protecting Wisconsin voters to take back our state. And while I may have been active in Wisconsin politics for a few years, now mainly at protesting like Act 10, and more recently for immigrants' rights, running for Congress really was not something that was ever on my bucket list. But when Paul Ryan was trying to take away our health care, My fellow ironworkers and I were talking on the job site about actually doing something for a change. He wanted to repeal and replace health care for 23 million Americans. We said, let's repeal and replace him. When I returned from my service in the Army, I worked 2 full-time jobs, and I didn't have health insurance. So when I was diagnosed with cancer, I had no way to cover the costs. The financial burden was insurmountable, and I had to declare bankruptcy because of my medical bills. I know that my story resonates with countless people because it's their story too. Soon after, I started an apprenticeship as an ironworker. Now, working iron, it's a tough job, but it was also that would help me get out of debt, and that was my ticket to the middle class. It allowed me to provide for health care for my son. It gave us both good health insurance and allowed me entry into the middle class. But sadly, too many good-paying union jobs are being outsourced. Right here in Wisconsin, at home, and all across the country. That's why I'm here. That's why I keep fighting. With your help and the help from people all across this country, we were able to repeal Paul Ryan. Make no mistake, his hand-picked replacement is just as bad as he is. His hand-picked replacement is a corporate attorney who has made his money outsourcing good-paying Wisconsin jobs. He supported the tax scam, and he's not going to protect Medicare and Social Security. Bottom line, he's a corporate lawyer who doesn't know what it's like to fall on hard times, what it means to live in poverty, and how hard it is to make ends meet when his party keeps putting profits over people. Now, my opponent refers to me as Radical Randy. My 12-year-old son thinks that's kind of cool. You know, but all things being said, I don't think it's radical to demand that everybody has access to health care. I don't think it's radical to demand that we protect good-paying American jobs and we start exporting cars, not jobs. I don't think it's too radical to believe we have to protect our environment because our kids and their kids are depending on it. It isn't radical to believe that we need to use our taxpayer money to give our kids better education, and how about paying public sector workers what they're worth? I definitely don't believe it's too radical that the people of the 1st Congressional District expect more than what we've gotten for the past 20 years. Together, we repealed Paul Ryan, but I need every single one of you to help me replace him. I know this November is for us, the hardworking people of Wisconsin, and now more than ever, it is important to stay involved and keep fighting. I want to thank you all so much for being here. Just remember, after Election Day, there's not going to be any phone calls to call people for help. We need to win this time. Next, I have a great privilege to introduce the next speaker, my friend Mandela Barnes. Mandela was one of the few early endorsements that we endorsed each other, and it was easy. It was an easy thing to do. Since being elected state representative, I remember seeing him get up, beating the sun up at the crack of dawn to go stand up on behalf of Walmart workers, to make sure that they would get $15 an hour. Yeah. It was a cold, very cold day too. to show that this man, he definitely walks the talk. And he continues to prove the strength of his character and leadership. From the first time I met Mandela, I knew he would make a difference in our state. And he definitely has not let me down. With that, our next Lieutenant Governor. Yeah!
So we got to thank Randy Bryce. I mean, think about how privileged we are to have Randy Bryce right here in the state of Wisconsin. It will be a wonderful day when we return government back to working people where it belongs. Right where it belongs. So I am Mandela Barnes, and I am your Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor. I am proud to be here to bring you one message, and that message is that Tony Evers will be elected the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. And you don't have to look much further than rooms like this to know that people are frustrated and tired of 8 years of divide and conquer under Governor Scott Walker. Unfortunately, people have not seen any wage increases. Our environment has been disregarded. Our schools have been defunded. That was then, this is now. And that is why we're running this race across the entire state. We're not just campaigning in every county, but we're making sure that we show up in every community to make sure that people are heard, to make sure that the voices of people who've been forgotten, who've been left behind by government will no longer be forgotten, and they will be heard in Evers Barnes' administration. So I say all this to say that I know people look at Tony Evers and myself, and look at those two young guys. Just getting across the state, campaigning, having a great time, doing Facebook Live videos. But it's so much more than that. We know that this campaign won't just be about everything that Governor Walker's done wrong. We only have 15 days. It's just not enough to talk about all the things he's done wrong. This campaign is about restoring hope and opportunity to everybody in the state. It's about making sure that we provide access to quality and affordable health care. It means that we take the Medicaid expansion on the first day in office. It means that we work to create a badger care public option so that we can have health care for all, for everybody. As Randy said before me as a cancer survivor, Tony Evers is also a cancer survivor. He beat cancer, and he will beat Scott Walker. And if I could just take a moment to go back to revisit the two young guys statement, because it's pretty funny. And today we're going to have two guys with gray hair and glasses, and they're going to get us all fired up. And people feel the burn. We're going to feel the tone. We're going to feel the tone. And the tone feels like change. Change is in the air for the state of Wisconsin. I also like to throw in the point that Tony Evers and our average age is 48 and a half years old, so it works out. But it has been such a fantastic time getting across, talking to people, because we want to make sure, again, that Wisconsin is open for everyone, not just open for business, regardless of how you identify, regardless of your immigration status, regardless if you have a criminal record or not. You deserve a chance to get ahead in the state of Wisconsin. But The only way that we create that Wisconsin that's open for all is when we show up to vote. And I know that everybody in this room plans to vote. And this election is so important, and that's why they're putting up so many hurdles, so many barriers to prevent people from voting. And that's why I say we're going to vote in spite of. We're going to vote because they don't want us to vote. Not only are we going to vote, we're going to take people to vote with us. We're going to make sure that not just our friends, our family members, and our neighbors know about this election. We're going to make sure strangers know about this election. Because we have to talk to the people that we don't know. We have to talk to the people that don't know us. We have to talk to the people who are the most impacted by Governor Walker's disastrous policies. And I can go on. I've talked about the need to expand health care and also fully fund our schools. And Governor Walker, again, Randy Bryce talked about it. Governor Walker's no friend of public education. If you remember, we just cut $250 million from the UW system. At the same time, they're talking about building new prisons. Now, we spent $1.5 billion to lock people up. We spent $1.5 billion to lock people up in the state of Wisconsin. That is more than we spend on the entire UW system. This is a priorities mismatch. And we have to make Wisconsin a state that prioritizes education, not incarceration. We have to make Wisconsin a state that makes higher education affordable and accessible for everyone. If you're dealing with student loan debt, or you know that you will be dealing with student loan debt, you should be able to refinance those loans. We should be able to borrow money at the same rate that big banks get to borrow money in this country. And we have to protect our environment. That is why we've made a commitment to put Wisconsin on track to be powered 100% by renewable energy. Not only is it right for our environment, it's right for our economy. Because Wisconsin is lagging the nation. We trail behind our Midwest partners. We trail behind most states in economic growth. And on top of all that, we have one more concept. I mean, it's a little far out there, so just sit with me for a second.
1 second.
Tony and I, we think that we should probably get scientists back into the Department of Natural Resources. Because we all know that clean air and safe drinking water is a human right.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've given us the charge to go out there to make sure that we vote. We know how important it is. I said we vote because they don't want us to vote. And people will tell you about, the fact that so many have lost their lives for the right for us to vote, but there are so many people who are dying for the right to vote, who cannot vote. So not only do we need to vote because they don't want us to, we need to vote for someone who can't vote. That means we need to vote for that person with a criminal record who's had their rights taken away. That means we need to vote for our undocumented brothers and sisters. That means we have to vote for the school children who want to live in America that's free from gun violence. Now, we know that we cannot do this on our own. And on November 6th, people will make a choice. The decision will be which direction do we want the state of Wisconsin to head. I'm choosing the path of opportunity. I hope that you all will choose that path with me. And we will go on this path together to make sure that we change the way that the state of Wisconsin looks. That we make sure that Wisconsin regardless of your zip code, that you have a chance to get ahead. And I'm so honored to be on this path, but I'm also honored to be joined by people who got on this path before me. People who have served as an inspiration. People who, in spite of, decided to go forward. People who were told no, that there's no place for you in politics. People who didn't see themselves represented in state government, in federal government, but decided to go on that path anyway. I am so honored to be represented by my member of Congress. I think we all should be proud to be represented by Congresswoman Gwen Moore. She is a trailblazer. She is a record breaker. And she is a difference maker in the state of Wisconsin. Not only did Congresswoman Gwen Moore make history, Congresswoman Gwen Moore made a difference. And that's what's important. She fights for all of us. There is no stronger champion. And I am so proud to call you my Congresswoman. I'm so proud to call you my friend. I'm so proud to introduce you to the rest of I'm so proud to introduce all of you to her and you to all of you. I got problems finishing speeches, but we're going to make this thing work out. Congresswoman Gwen Moore.
They keep telling me to be strong, but it's just too hard to get along. I got the Scott Kevin Walker blues. You've heard all the issues up here. Yeah. I've known Scott Walker since 1990. When he first ran against me in the state assembly and lost. But you know how germs are. If you don't kill all the germs right away, they just double down and come back. And he came back. And he became, he put in legislation. He was a vigorous legislator in the state assembly. I served with him one term, and he put in legislation to ensure that there was mass incarceration in the state. He put in legislation to make sure that we had private prisons, even put juveniles in the private prison. Mandela, am I wrong about this? Right. Had champagne celebrations for private prisons and juveniles in them. Mentally ill people in the prisons. I'm just giving you a little history here. I'm not going to be long, because I know you're waiting for some headliners here. But I'm just going to give you a little history. And then he went on, he became governor, he closed down Planned Parenthood clinics for women. He cut homestead tax credits for the elderly. He cut tens of thousands of people out of health care. He's leading the charge in fighting against including pre-existing conditions as part of normal health care. I can go on and on and on. Lord have mercy. They keep telling me to be strong. They keep telling me I'm wrong, but I got the Scott Kevin Walker blues. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Except, I got a solution, y'all. Somebody who would cut education. It sounds to me like we need an educator in the state. The minute that he didn't take that Medicaid expansion, seems like we need somebody who's been in the classroom and know, that 2 + 2 = 4. It seems like we need somebody like that. Ladies and gentlemen, young people, millennials, really, I want to talk to you for a second. It's really in your hands. It really is. I know, listen, I want to talk to you. Because I know y'all are mad at us, and some of us boomers. Yeah? Come on, tell the truth. How many of y'all mad at us? You mad at us because we have left you with nothing but a mess. But guess what? You're the solution now. You're the biggest and it's really in your hands. And no matter what our differences are, we can come together around a few things. Now, some say Evers, some say Evers. But all of us say Scott Walker re-elected never. Evers, Scott Walker, leave us. We are all looking forward. Up and down the ticket. Vote for me while y'all are there, okay? Up and down the ticket. We're looking for people who are going to do what Martin Luther King Jr. says. They're going to do justice. And we have an outstanding candidate for governor, gonna be our next governor of the great state of Wisconsin. Tony Evers, baby. You see, we have a lot in common, right? But we are going to look ever much the same on that great getting up morning of November 6th. And Tony, can you tell them the similarity that is so obvious, will be so obvious on that great getting up morning between me and you?
We're both winning.
Good morning, everybody. I've been in this room several times as a member of the Board of Regents. First part of my job. And I've never seen a crowd like this. So after I get the point, new Board of Regents members, I want all of you to come to that first meeting. It's outstanding to be here. Thank you, Gwen, Trailblazer, and just an honor to be on the stage with her. And Mandela Barnes, So, I had a debate with Walker last week, and I had the pleasure of asking him this question. So how's it feel to have like 3 of your most trusted advisors? 4 of them. Yes. 4 of your most trusted advisors say that you are unfit to be governor. We're going to make that happen on November 6th. I'm going to be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. Mandela said, this campaign is all about Wisconsin values. Let's just talk about education for a minute. Scott Walker took $800 million out of our K-12 education system, $250 million out of higher education system. making it, I just saw the other day, 15% fewer faculty at UWM, which is going to cause fewer courses, which is going to cause students to take longer to graduate. It's a downward spiral. We're going to change that going forward. We're going to fund education in the state of Wisconsin. Also have to make sure that we understand that low-wage Walker has brought us low wages in the state of Wisconsin. We're going to $15 an hour minimum. Family in the state of Wisconsin a 10% break on their income taxes because those are the people that are Think about how our tax system works. Think about that. Scott Walker has not funded the public schools. What happens as a result? The people of Wisconsin love their public schools. They go to referendum. They decided to raise their own taxes on themselves to support those public schools. That's a Scott Walker tax increase right there. And you know that our potholes are now called potholes. Whether it's Scott holes or whether it's people in northern Wisconsin having to strip the asphalt off the gravel, that doesn't work here in this state. We have to change things going forward. We have to have a transportation plan that supports not only our roads, but also mass transit, and sooner or later, we have to get trains running in this state. A little story about healthcare. Scott Walker, as you may remember, ran for president. He wasn't around much. But as a result of him running for president, he had to be against the Affordable Care Act, which meant that he would not take the money from Washington, D.C., the Medicaid money. You think about that. He took that money, ran for president, spent $30 million running for president, got 0.5% of the vote, and then as a result, people in Wisconsin have to pay more health insurance than they do in Minnesota. Our pre-existing conditions protections are out the window. His running for president caused people in Wisconsin to suffer. We're going to change that, and we're going to take that Medicaid money first day. Before talking about pre-existing conditions, and I have one myself. I'm a cancer survivor, and I couldn't imagine what it would have been like fighting through that if I didn't have health insurance. There's millions of people in the state of Wisconsin, 2.4 million people that have pre-existing conditions. Scott Walker just today said, let's double down on that today. They are in federal court to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which would get rid of pre-existing conditions. On TV this morning, he doubled down. He said it's absolutely the right thing to do. Under my administration, we will always have those protections for pre-existing conditions. The last thing I want to quickly talk about is criminal justice reform. The state of Wisconsin is one of the worst in the country, in some places worse than the world. If you look like me and you commit a crime, and that same exact crime was committed by a person of color, odds are that person's going to be in jail, and I'm not. That is wrong. You have to be smart on crime, not dumb on crime. We can change this going forward. This is an issue. We spend more on corrections than we do in the University of Wisconsin system. You think about that. We need to make sure that we have opportunities for people to be rehabilitated. It's cheaper, gets people back in the workforce and back to their families. We can't have people rotting in prison with nothing looking forward to happening in their lives. That is just wrong, and we're going to change this in the state of Wisconsin. Here's the deal. You all know this. When Democrats vote, Democrats win. Mandela and I are chasing all over the state of Wisconsin, talking to people, building relationships with people. That's what counts. I remember that from the classroom. The most important thing you can do is build relationships with those kids. We have to build relationships with every voter. We can't do it ourselves. It's about getting people out to vote, making sure you reach out to your friends and relatives. Vote early. We are going to win this November. We need your help.
My name is Littlejohn. I'm a fast food worker and a leader in the fight for 15. I'm extremely excited to be here today. I'm truly proud to be a participant in this rally, and I'm truly proud to be surrounded by so many positive people, including elected officials and candidates who support workers like me and you. I'm definitely going to use this time and this opportunity to use my voice. I would like to start off by saying, on behalf of the Fight for 15 brothers and sisters, that we truly appreciate seeing good pro-worker, pro-union politicians. We're glad to see they exist and that we stand here with them today. Less than 3 weeks ago, thousands of fast food workers across America went on strike to demand unions for all and a $15 living wage for all. And we had a great turnout of support from those politicians who were willing to stand with us and willing to risk arrest as well. And it's about standing for something better. It's about fighting for good jobs and equality in life. Improved working conditions. A decent shot at a future for ourselves and our families. It doesn't make sense that we work for $1 billion global corporations that pay wages so low. Workers like me are forced to rely on government assistance and can barely afford simple living necessities. That's just not living. These corporations we work for need to be held accountable. And they have the power and the money to pay us better and let us organize and build the unions we so much desperately need. With the union, we wouldn't have to demand a living wage. We'd have health care and savings. We'd have sick days and paid vacation days. The bottom line is, we'd be protected by unions. We've been saying in the last agreement that workers have won a buck-style agreement for a $15 wage floor and union rights. And we fast food workers are asking for the same to be done for fast food corporations all around the country. But we're not just asking this from greedy corporations. We're also asking this from self-interest, anti-worker, anti-union politicians as well. We ask to be heard. For we feel they don't understand us, nor do they really care. Too many families in Wisconsin are living in poverty, while the rest of Wisconsin is falling behind. The same workers who are living in poverty and struggling like me to pay bills are the same ones who have the strongest voting power to elect candidates into office. 2 weeks from now, we will be casting our votes at these polls. We plan to show our political power on November 6th. And yes, we need elected officials who are about workers, who care about unions, who care about the state of the state and the people in the state. From now until election day, we'll be canvassing neighborhoods, communities, Wisconsinites. We'll be canvassing communities and neighborhoods where Wisconsinites have been left out of the voting process. Fight for 15 will do whatever it takes to win. Yes. And if that means going on strike, knocking on doors, canvassing, and encouraging people to register and vote, then that's just what we're going to do. As Senator Bernie Sanders said, no one in America, especially working for profitable corporations, should be living in poverty. And I think that's right. It's 2018, and honestly, for that thing, a job that should not start at $15 an hour or more. It should not give you the right to unionize. And I will end by saying this, that we, the workers, need to be heard. And I would say this, that we, the workers, we may not run America, but we make America run.
My name is Peter Rickman, and I am here for a political revolution. In 2016, Bernie Sanders demonstrated that political leadership in this country can rise because, not despite, but because it champions the demands of social movements, because it fights for working class people instead of kowtowing to billionaire class interests. Bernie Sanders popularized the notion that in the richest country in the history of the world, every single working person deserves a living wage by right, not as a privilege, but a right here in this country. We need a political revolution to define that all workers deserve living wages and union rights. Because the truth is, in America, the boss class has rigged the system. They've taken over our economy. They've busted our unions. They've destroyed our wage laws. It's why our paychecks are too damn small and corporate profits are too damn high. Bernie said, how long we've had enough, and people are marching in this political revolution. And it's a political revolution that's going to do it. I want to tell you, sisters and brothers, this is not just an ideal or a dream. It is a reality. 2 years ago, right here in Milwaukee, right in Walkers, Wisconsin, when the fight for 15 in a union and the political revolution came together, we were able to win the first agreement of its kind anywhere in the country, right here for 15 in a union, for thousands of workers, right here in downtown Milwaukee. That's what a political revolution looks like. Don't tell me what to do. Simple mom working 2 jobs as a cook, the recent college grad who's bartending to pay off the student loan debt, the recent immigrant who's a hotel housekeeper. They're the ones who need this political revolution. And they're the very same people who know that for a political revolution to occur, we must make it. It's with our own 2 hands. And that's why they are the people who are building this fight for 15 in a union, not just talking about it, not just in their workplace, but like Solo said, out in the streets and in the neighborhoods, knocking on doors, to get folks out to vote on November 6th, to vote for living wages, to vote for union rights for everybody, to vote for a political revolution, to vote for an economy. The margin of despair in 2016 was only 22,000 votes. We can get out 100,000, 200,000, 200,000 more working class people who say it's time for a political revolution. It's time to unrig this system. It's time to build this economy. It's time for us to rise. We will make this world Now I want you, I don't have much time up here. I want you to just close your eyes and imagine here. Just one moment. I want you to think about the night of November 6th. What it's going to be like. What will that story be on CNN, on MSNBC, maybe even on Fox News? It ain't going to be a blue wave, sisters and brothers. It's going to be a rising tide of political revolution. Where they make sport of busting our unions, where they cut our wages simply to put more profits in the hands of the billionaire class, right here in Wisconsin. The story will be the political revolution took flight. It's sent to Congress to stand with Senator Bernie Sanders in the fight for 15 and a union for all. Senator Ron Johnson is going to turn around. It's going to turn around by putting Tony Evers in our capital to deliver on 15 in a union for every single man and woman in this state who works for a living. The story will be the turnaround of this country, beginning right here in Wisconsin. What happens in Wisconsin, does not stay in Wisconsin. CNN or MSNBC, sure as hell not on Fox News, unless each and every one of us takes up this mantle. And we have a choice, sisters and brothers. Vote on November 6th, but do nothing more. Do nothing. And let the boss class continue to hold us down. Let them keep their power. And good luck with all that. We'll see where this economy goes. It ain't going to be working for us. It'll work for the few, not the many. The other choice here, sisters and brothers, and if you are with me, I need you to get with me here today and get out into these streets. The other choice is that we go and make this political revolution ourselves with our hands and our feet, so that on November 6th, we win back our state. And we do not stop there. And we march and fight and win 15 in the union for all.
I'm the regional organizing director here in Milwaukee County for the Democratic Party Coordinating Campaign. I just want to thank all of you for being here today. I see somebody familiar and new faces out in the crowd. It's really great to have you all here. And I'm so proud that we are all in this together to re-elect Senator Tammy Baldwin to the United States Senate. Now, I was born here in Milwaukee, born and raised, and I've lived here nearly my whole life. My mom was a special education teacher here in Milwaukee for over 30 years. School board for almost 15 years. So I love our city. And here in Milwaukee, what I love about it is that we help each other out and we help each other succeed. And that's exactly what Senator Tammy Baldwin is all about. Tammy is fighting to protect our health care, to lower costs, and she does right by Wisconsin no matter what it takes and no matter what powerful special interests stand in the way. And it's exactly why those special interests have spent over $14 million just to try to beat her. Now this election could come down to a couple thousand votes, and the work that we all do is going to be the difference between winning and losing for Tammy and for all the other Democrats. So that's why I'm going to tell you that it's important to have those face-to-face conversations with your family, your friends, and your neighbors about the issues that they care about most, and make sure that they all know that this is absolutely vital. So if you haven't already done so, please sign up for a shift. There are folks in the room with clipboards. There'll be folks outside with clipboards. Please take a minute, talk to them, and sign up for a shift to help out. Not only is it fun and it's easy, but we also need your help as thousands of other Wisconsinites across the state are helping to talk to voters here. So before I leave today, I also want to make sure that you all remember to vote, right? We know that we can't let the special interests silence our voices, and the easiest way to make our voices heard and to speak out is by showing up at the polls. And the great thing is that you actually don't have to wait until November 6th to vote. You can vote today. All you can do is bring your photo ID to a polling location, and you can find where and when to vote by going to www.tammybaldwin.com/earlyvote and check out your polling location there. And if you are a resident of the city of Milwaukee, you don't even have to do that. You can walk over to UWM's very own Peck School of the Arts and vote right after the rally today. So I just want to let you guys all know that Tammy has had our backs for the last 6 years, and it's time for us to make sure that she gets reelected this year. So sign up to vote, sign up to volunteer, get out to vote. Thanks again for being here today.
It's a lot of bad days and